two cars, side by side. On the left, a $40,000 entry-level luxury sedan, fresh off the lot, still smelling like plastic and marketing. On the right, a car that cost less than your last vacation. $5,000, maybe less if you know where to look. Here's the problem for the dealership. The $5,000 car has a bigger engine, a smoother ride, thicker steel, and it will probably still be running after that $40,000 car is in a scrapyard. This isn't nostalgia, this is math. Today, I'm exposing 5 luxury sedans that dealerships actively avoid stocking because they're too good, too cheap, and too easy to fix. This is the list they don't want circulating. Let's get into it. Before we go further, if you're new here, welcome to RideExposed. Here's what we do differently. Most car channels get paid by manufacturers to make new cars look exciting. We don't take that money. Our only job is to find the cars the industry wants you to overlook. Because a $5,000 sedan that outlasts a lease doesn't sell a lot of $700 a month car payments. Every video on this channel is built around one goal: saving you real money before you sign anything. Subscribers on this channel have used our breakdowns to walk into private sales knowing more about a car's failure points than the person selling it. That's leverage. That's money in your pocket. So if you want the next hidden list before it goes mainstream, hit subscribe now, turn on notifications, and let's get into today's 5 cars. Why this list exists. Quick context before the deep dive. These cars all launched between $45,000 and $70,000 new. They were flagship or near flagship models, engineering flexes from Lexus, Acura, Mercedes, Volvo, and Infiniti. 15 to 20 years later, depreciation has done something strange. It stripped away the price tag, but left the engineering intact. Dealerships don't want these on their lots for a simple reason: low margin. A $5,000 trade-in with a bulletproof drivetrain doesn't need a warranty upsell, doesn't need financing tricks, and doesn't come back for expensive scheduled maintenance. It just runs. That's bad for their service department and worse for their finance department. Let's break down exactly which years to target, which to avoid, and what's actually happening under the hood. Car number 1, Lexus LS430, 2001 to 2006. Years to buy, 2004 to 2006. Post facelift. These got the exterior refresh, improved electronics, and worked out early kinks. Years to approach carefully, 2001 to 2003. Still excellent, but earlier production runs carry more miles by now, and some early air suspension components have already been replaced once. Worth confirming with service records. The stealth wealth factor. The LS430 doesn't shout. No badges screaming for attention, no aggressive fascia. It reads as understated money, the same silhouette respected by people who don't need to prove anything. That's exactly why it's a sleeper. Nobody clocks a 20-year-old Lexus as a $55,000 car when it launched. But it was. The mechanical truth. This is the headline. The LS430 runs the 3UZ-FE, a 4.3-liter V8 widely regarded as one of the most over-engineered engines Toyota ever mass-produced. Timing belt interval sits around 90,000 miles, and if that's done on schedule, this engine routinely clears 300,000 miles with only basic maintenance. The transmission, a 6-speed automatic, is similarly overbuilt for the power it's managing. The one caveat: air suspension. It's comfortable, but the compressor and air struts wear out over time. Budget for it, or find a car where it's already been converted to coilovers if you want to eliminate the issue entirely. The dealer's secret. Dealerships hate the LS430 on their used lot because it doesn't need reconditioning. There's no upsell story. A mechanic can't build a $2,000 recommended services quote around an engine that doesn't have problems. It sells itself, which means there's no margin to pad. Car number 2, Acura RL, 2005 to 2008. Years to buy, 2008. Honda revised the variable cylinder management system this year, resolving the oil consumption issues that plagued earlier models. Years to avoid or inspect heavily, 2005 to 2007. VCM-related oil consumption is common, not catastrophic, but you need documented proof of regular oil top-offs and changes. The stealth wealth factor. The RL was Honda's technology flagship, SHAWD, a torque vectoring all-wheel drive system that predates most performance brand equivalents. It looks like a slightly upscale Accord to the untrained eye. That's the disguise. Underneath, it's carrying tech that competitors charged a premium for. The mechanical truth. The J35A9 3.5-liter V6 is fundamentally strong. Timing belt, not chain, needs replacement around 105,000 miles, non-negotiable. The transmission is generally solid. The real watch item is VCM. On 2005 to 2007 models, it can deactivate cylinders in a way that accelerates oil consumption if maintenance is neglected. Buy a well-documented one, and this is a non-issue. The dealer's secret. SHAWD scares dealership service departments because it requires specialized diagnostic knowledge most general techs don't have. Rather than train for a low-volume model, dealers quietly steer trade-ins off their lots and into auction, which is exactly how they end up in the sub-$5,000 private market. Car number 3, Mercedes-Benz E-Class W211, 2003 to 2009. Years to buy, 2003 to 2006, specifically the E500 with the naturally aspirated M113 V8. This is the pre-facelift generation, and it's the one enthusiasts specifically hunt for. Years to avoid, 2007 to 2009 post-facelift E-Class with the M273 V8. More electronics, more balanced shaft wear complaints, and higher repair complexity. The stealth wealth factor. A 3-pointed star still reads as money anywhere in the world, at any price point. The W211's design has aged into a quiet elegance. It doesn't scream, used car. It reads as, this person doesn't need a new one. The mechanical truth. The M113 V8 in the E500 is naturally aspirated, mechanically simple by Mercedes standards, and known for outlasting the cars around it. The real risk on this generation isn't the engine, it's the electronics and the air suspension. Airmatic. Wiring harnesses can develop issues from rodent damage or age-related insulation breakdown, and airmatic repairs aren't cheap if neglected. A pre-purchase inspection focused on suspension and electrical systems is mandatory here. The dealer's secret. Independent Mercedes specialists, not the dealership, are where these cars get properly maintained for a fraction of dealer labor rates. Franchise dealers know this, which is exactly why an out-of-warranty W211 rarely gets prioritized for their own used inventory. They'd rather you buy new and pay dealer service rates for the next decade. Car number 4, Volvo S80 V8, 2007 to 2009. Years to buy, 2007 to 2008. Lower mileage examples of this rare Yamaha-built V8 variant, ideally with full timing chain service records. Years to avoid. High mileage cars past 130,000 miles without documented timing chain and tensioner replacement. The stealth wealth factor. This is the deepest sleeper on this list. Most people don't even know Volvo built a V8 sedan. It looks like every other S80 on the road, which is precisely the point. Nobody expects a transverse-mounted V8 tucked under that understated Scandinavian bodywork. The mechanical truth. The B8444S is a 4.4-liter V8 co-developed with Yamaha, genuinely well-engineered, but famously difficult to service because it's mounted sideways, transverse, in a front-wheel, all-wheel drive layout originally designed for smaller engines. Spark plug changes and timing chain work require significant labor because of how tightly the engine is packaged. This is a car where mechanical soundness and ease of repair are two very different questions. Buy one with full documentation, or budget extra for labor-intensive services. The dealer's secret. This is the single biggest reason dealers avoid the S80 V8. Their techs don't want to work on it. The labor time for basic services is disproportionate to the car's resale value, so shops either overcharge dramatically or refuse the job outright. That labor cost stigma is exactly what crushes resale value and hands you a flagship V8 Volvo for pocket change. Car number 5, Infiniti G35, 2003 to 2007. Years to buy, 2005 to 2007. Nissan revised the cylinder heads mid-cycle, improving oil consumption and reducing the early timing chain guide wear, reported on 2003 models. Years to avoid. Early 2003 models with no documented timing chain guide inspection. A known rattle-on cold start issue. The stealth wealth factor. The G35 was Nissan/Infiniti's answer to the 3 Series, and it's aged into a genuine performance sleeper. Rear-wheel drive, near-perfect weight balance, and a shape that still looks modern next to cars twice its price. The mechanical truth. The EQ35DE V6 is on multiple best engines ever built lists. It's smooth, powerful for its size, and durable when maintained. The known issue is timing chain guides wearing prematurely on the earliest 2003 models, causing a rattle on cold start. On 2005 plus revised head cars, this is largely resolved. Regular oil changes are non-negotiable. This engine is less forgiving of neglect than the others on this list. The dealer's secret. Because the G35 built a cult following among performance buyers who modify and maintain their own cars, well-kept examples rarely hit dealer lots. Private owners hang on to them or sell directly to enthusiasts. Dealers that do get one in trade often wholesale it fast rather than reconditioning it, because they know the buyer base isn't sitting in their showroom. Before you hand over cash for any of these 5, run this checklist. 1. Pull the maintenance records, not the Carfax, the actual receipts. A Carfax shows accidents. It doesn't show whether the timing belt on that RL was actually replaced at 105K. Ask the seller directly for service receipts. No records on a car with a timing belt engine is a red flag, not a minor gap. 2. Cold start test, every single time. Never test drive a car that's already warmed up before you arrive. Ask the seller not to start it. A cold start reveals engine rattle, especially on the G35's timing chain, rough idle, and any electrical warning lights that a warm engine might mask. 3. Suspension bounce test. Push down hard on each corner of the car and release. If it bounces more than once or twice before settling, you're looking at worn shocks, or, on the LS430 and W211, potential air suspension failure. Factor that repair cost directly into your offer. 4. Check for the specific weak point on your target car. LS430, air suspension warning light, and ride height when parked overnight. RL, oil level and any burnt oil smell, suggesting VCM-related consumption. W211, airmatic warning lights and any electrical gremlins, flickering dash, slow window motors. S80 V8, timing chain noise and full service documentation, given the labor cost of that repair. G35, cold start rattle from the timing chain guides. 5. Get a pre-purchase inspection from an independent specialist, not the dealer. For less than $150, a specialist who works on these specific brands will catch what a general inspection misses. On a $5,000 car, that inspection fee is the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. Do this, and you eliminate 90% of the risk that keeps people away from buying used luxury in the first place. So here's my question for you. Which of these 5 would you actually daily drive? The effortless LS430 or the sleeper V8 Volvo nobody sees coming? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you've owned one of these, tell us what actually broke. That's how this community gets sharper than any dealership. And if this list opened your eyes to what's hiding in plain sight on used car lots, you need to see the next one. 7 cars rich people drive that nobody knows cost under 10K. I'll drop it right here. Go watch it next. This is RideExposed. We find what they don't want you to see.